Well, hello, and it's 1999, just 4 years to go before the opening of the Millennium Dome, and 8 years before we can get there. And pretty soon there'll be massive changes on our television screens when News at 10 finally comes off, though ITN have done a deal with the blockbuster movies that are going to replace it, as you can see from this scene from Godzilla. Because these films will be scripted so that Trevor McDonald turns up in them, reading the news at about 10 o'clock.
From ITN.
Shake-up ends uncertainty for the local post office.
Later on in that film, a discussion about interest rates is held in a scene where Michael Brunson mates with a giant lizard. And this month, it's time to get your self-assessment tax return in. Look out for the ads featuring Hector, the cartoon taxman. Last year, he collected so much money from fines that the Treasury released another campaign showing him in the Bahamas blowing coke out of his arse. Off to them. Actually, no one can hide from bureaucracy this year because yesterday the IRA received this letter from the DSS saying, "Dear IRA, we notice that you've been on ceasefire for more than 6 months and are therefore eligible for work. Please report to your nearest DSS office where a New Deal interview will help you find a job." And they did. The whole IRA turned up for an interview and were given a job as a receptionist in a Belfast hotel, just to see how they liked it. And finally, media analysts criticised Tony Blair for his tendency to sound over-sincere by putting long dramatic pauses in his speeches, including this conference appearance, which contained perhaps the longest dramatic pause in political history.
Thanks. Thank you for that wonderful welcome. Well, all I can tell you is that I am deeply proud and privileged to stand before you as the new Labour Prime Minister of this country.
I love it when he talks long.
By the way, we've been asked to issue a quick warning before we start the programme. If you're a parent, no doubt you got involved in a fight to the death in Toys R Us over one of these. It's a Furby. Now, this actually isn't a proper Furby. It's one of those dreadful, dangerous copies that bootleggers have been selling at markets. I bought this one for my niece and was horrified to find this thing on the bottom. I'll just take the bottom off there. Right, now, look at that there. Look at that pin. Terrible pin. That could really have a child's eye out. That's horrible. But the worst thing is, that pin belongs to this grenade. So, do watch out for that. Well, let's just get rid of this a moment. Sorry.
Now, there's something I'd like to show you, something I got over Christmas. It's a Virgin yo-yo. It's a bit of a promotional gimmick for their trains. I have to say, it's a bit disappointing. Halfway down this ride to a halt, there's no explanation, nothing, no one tells us. You stay that way for up to 3 hours. Rubbish.
Now, of course, 1999 is going to be a key year for the royal family. There was a lot of tension last year between Charles and the Queen over Camilla and the succession and so on. In fact, so much tension that all over the country now, the Sealed Knot Society stage historical reenactments of rifts between Charles's press office and Buckingham Palace. There they are. There's 500 of them in a pitched row, and they're reenacting the day Charles got someone to fax the Queen a memo saying William can go to a Fatboy Slim concert on his own if he wants to. And there's the Queen's men sending a fax back saying, all right, but he must go on a horse.
I don't know, but there's been a lot of sort of very delicate diplomatic exchanges between Charles and the Queen. You know, they have to keep it very sort of polite. I mean, Charles let it be known discreetly that he'd be happy for the Queen to abdicate, and the Queen quietly hinted that Charles can shut his big jug-handled face. Here's what the Queen gave Charles for Christmas. It's the design for his coronation mug. Now, personally, I think she's trying to wind him up a bit, because if you look at the picture of him on it, she reckons he'll be 120 years old in the year 2068 when it actually happens. The best thing, though, is on the back, where there's a portrait of the Queen Mother, who will still be going in 70 years' time, of course, when she'll be 168 years young.
Hang on, the Queen Mother's going to be 99, right? Mm. So that means we've only got 1 year left to reset her. Otherwise she's going to crash. No one's thought about this. It's the Queen Mum bug.
You know, they reckon that the Queen Mother, in the event of a nuclear war, is the only thing that will survive, apart from cockroaches. They're going to mate them together.
I mean, the problem for the royals is how to get the public to accept Camilla with the same sort of affection and respect they have for Princess Michael of Kent or the Duke of Edinburgh, Sarah Ferguson, Prince Charles. But Charles, he's had a little idea. He's been creeping her into the public consciousness for quite a while. In fact, this book that he's written, The Old Man of Loch Nagar, if you look at the illustrations, you see that? There she is, just going across on a horse, slightly at the back there.
Before we move on, more ideas from Virgin Trains Customer Relations Department. If you're one of those passengers who write them complaints all year and think, oh, it's the season of goodwill, I'll send them a Christmas card, then you might want to buy these. They're Virgin Christmas cards, which have a pre-written complaint on the back. It says, "Dear Mr. Branson, I would like to complain about the terrible standards of service on your trains and a Happy New Year." And they come in packs of 20. And the nice thing about them is that for every one they receive, Virgin have pledged a penny for new rolling stock.
Now, as we enter the new year, we've had New Labour now for 20 months. It's too late to take them back to the shops. We're stuck with them. They're ours to keep forever. But are we being unfair? Here's what David thought.
Tony Blair's come under a lot of flack lately. I mean, from us, you know. Got to earn a living somehow. But the thing is, we can't understand, we mortals, we can't understand what it's like. We can't see things as he sees them, if only we could. Well, now we can, thanks to these glasses. Now, they enable us to see the world through Tony Blair's eyes. I'll show you what I mean. For example, let's have a look at that on-the-record interview with John Humphreys a couple of weeks ago.
Now, and what that letter says...
There he is,
when a decision
giving Tony a rough ride. He's a real difficult political animal, that John Humphreys. But let's see what John Humphreys looks like through Tony Blair's eyes, shall we? There we are. He's a tiny, naughty boy doing raspberries. No problem, says Tony. And it's the same with the newspapers, OK? Take this one, right? Blair accused of selling off our schools. Oh, dear. Let's put the glasses on. Oh, Blair accused of being so good it hurts. No problems, and these are available in all good constituency offices now.
So what is our country like under the glorious reign of L. Ron Tony? We sent our cameras to a solid New Labour constituency in the company of the local MP to find out how things have changed since the last ever election.
Early morning in Southport North.
My name's Jeff Anderson. I'm the MP for this area, and I tend to get people up around 6:20 a.m. We have our surgery here every fortnight, and it's always great fun. Well, thank you very much, and goodbye. Oh, right. So, what can I do for you?
Well, we haven't really got a problem. My husband and I think you're all doing such magnificent work here. We'd like to give you something as a thank you. So, we wondered if you'd accept our daughter.
Oh, that's lovely.
She is a virgin.
All four of you. If you'd like to go and stand over there for now.
And it's the young to which Blair's lips really speak.
I live with my dad and my nan, who has to cover her face because she's old.
Oh, that's nice, Sophie. Yeah, well, I'm going to go upstairs and do my homework now, OK, you daft old crusty?
Many young girls like these want to grow up to be one of the new Blair wives, so that they can be bathed in his leader fluid. It's now a popular custom all over New Britain to stop work 3 times a day and bow towards Greenwich.
deal a lot with the persistent unemployed, who are the most difficult to cope with, but ways can be found to help get them off the register. Well, you haven't managed to find work, and you have no qualifications to suit any of the jobs on offer here, so we've arranged for you to go over into that corner and push a knife into your heart. So there are your forms, and there's the knife, so it's over to you, really.
The election may be over, but the eternal doorstep campaign goes on.
Could we come in for a moment and discuss our leaflet? I am the manifesto. Come with me.
There are unfortunate circumstances that occur, yes, when we do find persistent Tory voters within the community. What we do here, for the sake of them and their families and our families, is ensure that they are removed, they can take most of their belongings with them, and they're sent to start a new life in an internment camp, which is formerly known as Buckinghamshire.
And as Labour finally move out of the honeymoon period with the public and into shagging around and drunken beatings, who will they blame when things go badly wrong, as they undoubtedly will? Armando had the scientific answer.
It's Labour's quarterly blame figures. It basically shows who's to get the blame and who's to get the credit at any one time. So, just to show you, we start off with education here. Now, David Blunkett, in the first year, will take the credit for the brilliant way he published last year's improved exam results. But by the second year, if things carry on improving, it will cross this, which is the Blair line. If anything gets above this level of being quite good, then Tony Blair automatically steps in to take credit. On to the economy. Now, they've inherited good figures from the Tories, which Gordon Brown is happy to take credit for in the first year, until the economy starts to slow down. So over the next 12 months, the blame will gradually be apportioned to Margaret Thatcher, and then finally, Harold Macmillan. At which point, Brown will start pumping billions into getting himself back into credit, although he'll be careful to keep it just below the Blair line. And finally, with the NHS, they've given up on this altogether. It'll remain in a state of permanent blame throughout this Parliament, culminating in 3 years' time with Labour blaming Clement Attlee for inventing the NHS in the first place. Now, by this stage, in 2001, there'll be demands to come up with a decent minimum wage and pressure on the Scottish Parliament to put up taxes, which is why, at that point, Labour will divert funds into building an enormous fan by the Thames for all the shit that's going to hit it. There it is there.
The first day of the year, and if you're the sort of person who enjoys deflowering your diary, then you've got to get yourself one of these. It's a Millennium diary, and it covers the next 1,000 years. As you can see, it's a day to a page. All the usual stuff is here. New moon, full moon, moon explodes, destroying Earth. There's the new public holidays, May the 1st, Labour landslide day, bank holiday, except Kensington and Chelsea. Yeah, it's all here, and as well as having the next 1,000 years, it's got an extra century after that to just to tide you over till you get another Millennium diary.
Actually, can I just have a look at this? There's something I just want to check. Yeah. Excellent. 37 days into the new millennium, Noel Edmonds sacked by BBC. And then this day is celebrated every year for the next 1,000 years. Marvellous.
Do you know what really get on my nerves, though? Are those people... Have you heard about these people who say that the next millennium doesn't actually start until 2001?
Oh, yes.
You know, these really pedantic people, like, presumably on New Year's Eve, they're just going to be sitting there, you know, saying, no, we're not going out. Ridiculous. I mean, this is a genuine set of letters sent to various organisations by a Mr. Christopher Penfold of Salisbury. And he's for real. This guy is absolutely for real. He sent all these letters, and he's on a one-man mission to save mankind from tragically having a very good time. Technically a year too early. And not only that, but Mr. Penfold will not rest, absolutely true, will not rest until we learn to call the Millennium bug the 99/2000 bug.
I see. So not only do we have a race against time to stop it happening,
yes,
but we've got to recall all the stickers that say Millennium bug on it.
Brilliant.
But tonight on the Armistice, we are going to offer you a chance to win the most fantastic prize of a Millennium that you will see on any show this year. That's right, we're offering a babysitter for Millennium Night. Now, you won't be able to get one of these for love nor money, but tonight, some lucky parent here is going to go home happy in the knowledge that come Millennium Night, they'll be able to go out and get as ratted as a medieval sewer. But first, please meet the babysitter on offer. Who else but pedant Christopher Penfold, who doesn't believe the Millennium starts in the year 2000, but in 2001, and his wife, Mary. Hello. Yes, they're really here. So, Christopher, why 2001?
Because the outgoing Home Secretary stood up in Commons and said it is going to be the 1st of January 2001.
OK, so...
But it was based on information given by the National Physical Laboratory, who look after your time, the pips you get before the news.
So basically, the old Home Secretary is going to have a party with the National Physical Laboratory and you on 2001. I'm going to be there.
Good.
And Mary, could I just ask, do you agree with this?
Well, I've been dragged into it over the years.
Let's not probe too closely there. All right.
Hang on, Mr. Penfold. So you believe the new millennium should start in 2001?
Exactly.
Right? And the millennium commemorates the 1000th anniversary of the birth of Christ?
Yes.
But most scholars agree that Christ was born in 3 AD.
Yes, well, setting that aside, that it might be an error in the recorded
Actually, forget it, it's not that interesting. It's not.
No. Setting aside the birth of Christ in the decision...
No, that's very important. That's what it's all about.
But are you genuinely prepared to offer your services on Millennium Night as a babysitter?
Not me, but my wife.
Well, you'll be out partying, will you?
Oh, yes, I'll be out. You see, we won't be able to keep track of it.
All right, well, thank you very much, Mary. I pity you.
Are you going to be...
Time now to choose our lucky winner. Anyone in our studio audience tonight can win this fantastic prize, but there's just one thing. You must have a child. This isn't for those people who live on their own and just want company. Sorry, Peter. Now, all you have to do to win is make a sealed bid saying what you will put in the fridge for the babysitters on the night, and the best one wins. So if you're sitting in the audience and you've managed to procreate, get a pencil and paper out and hand us your bids.
Right, well, while David collects the bids from our audience, back to the dome itself, by which I mean the contents, not the structure. Well, whatever. It's going to be terrible. That's the point I'm trying to make. Really bad. So earlier in the year, on your behalf, we tried to stop the construction of it, and the best way we knew how to do that was by going down to Greenwich and trying to distract the builders.
First off, we tried the one thing guaranteed to bring a construction site to a halt. A big pot of tea.
I've got a big copy of The Sun, 100 pages long.
A copy of their favourite tabloid.
All right. Some tea.
Rub me off that.
Unfortunately, they weren't thirsty. Time for something far more radical. Two sexy ladies talking like a builder's dream.
We're gagging for it.
Tell from the look in our eyes.
Tell from the look in our eyes, we're gagging
really
for it. Yeah.
Hello.
Nice erections. You got a big estimate? I like a man who's ready on time, don't you?
Partial success.
I'm gagging for it. You can see it in my eyes, can't you? Cheeky, yeah. Oh, door's shutting.
They were determined to resist temptation. We had one last irresistible try.
We like the idea of getting it on together while you watch.
Time to send in the chopper.
Well, we're just hovering over the Millennium Dome now. I can see at least 3 men working really quite hard. So I'm moving these leaflets along, cash in hand for work on my home. More money than sense, no need to quote. So this should get the dome and straight over to my house in North London. Abandon this right elephant. Come to North London and mend my roof, but not your notes. Cash in hand. I know nothing about building. Come whenever you want. Go whenever you want. I have more money than sense. You can leave your boots on in the house. I'll go away for 6 months. underpinning. I'm sure you'll find a lot of other things wrong with it. Nothing, repeat, nothing about building, and I like being taken for a ride.
How could they resist? We'd emptied the site.
OK, the winner is Joe Whedon over here, and you claim that you can cram in a fridge double chocolate chip Haagen-Dazs ice cream, nice, and Leonard DiCaprio. Now, can you actually achieve this?
Yeah, no problem, sure.
No problem,
Yeah,
OK.
I've tried it before.
And it does... How many kids have you got?
We've just got one on the way.
One on the way?
Yes.
So you're thinking ahead?
Yes.
So, Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo, must get it right, pedantic. And Haagen-Dazs and a tiny, lovely baby. So enjoy yourself, Mary.
And there's some nice pedantic books for you to read to the kids on that night. There's the 0715 to Swansea, The Tank Engine, and Budgie the Little Bird. Mr. and Mrs. Penfeld, thank you.
Well, we've taken a lighter look at the year just gone, but there were some moments of personal sadness too. So as one year ends and another begins, let's take time to remember one or two of the people who tragically are still with us.
Now, last year, of course, has been a difficult time also for people who supplied drugs to children's TV presenters. The bottom dropped completely out of the market when Richard Bacon was sacked from Blue Peter for admitting to his cocaine habit. Some children had already spotted the telltale signs.
Now, if you're planning to spring a nice surprise on your mum this weekend, then send her out of the room now. Send her out for the next 5 minutes, because here is a natty little card that might just get you high this weekend. Now, the wrapping paper comes from a piece of paper, cut out of writing paper, whatever you like. It's about 7 centimetres square, and carefully cut 8 slits that are not quite to the centre of the disc. Again, it's a bit tricky getting it off here, but I'll get it like that. And I'm going to cut them in like that. The best way to do it, I think, is to treat it like a clock. So say that was 12 o'clock. Then come round to 3 o'clock, and go to the bottom, which is 6 o'clock, and round again here to 9 o'clock. Remember, not going all the way into the centre. And once you've done all of them, you see, you should be left with something a bit like this. Now, for the actual card, you need to take a piece of card that's twice as long as it is high. So let me, that's the best thing to do, I think, is put the corner nearest your body and put your finger on that. And then fold it over, just over halfway, if you can get it off the desk, like that, to about there. And then do the same on the other side. Again, just over halfway to, hang on, let's pick it up, to about there. Now stick down the flap with a bit of glue, stick it down firmly, and you're done with that bit. If I press that there, onto there, and just hold that up for you, you can see that that is quite an impressive. Doesn't that look fab? You can also, if you want, instead of, say, having it in wrapping paper, you could have it in, say, I don't know, a plant pot, and I've done that here. If you look at these are supposed to be daisies there. You can see that that would be a plant pot. But that, Kate, that's not bad, is it, for a first go? What do you think?
Everybody, yes, that is fantastic.
First card, brilliant.
I hope my mum isn't
I'd love
watching.
to get one of those.
I hope she's not watching.
You just sent her out of the room,
Yeah,
didn't you?
this is for her.
That's fantastic.
But it has got out of control, the whole children's TV presenters and drugs problem, because I think we were all disgusted when we saw the footage of lead Teletubby Paul, who was found dead in a hotel after overdosing on barbiturates, or tubby bitwits, as he called them, and then ended up choking on his own stuffing.
Well, what children need now more than anything is a positive role model or two. So early in the year, the BBC, they pulled off a bit of a coup when one of their most popular programmes, This Life, was successfully scrapped. So what they've done is recruit an elite corps of child actors and train them up for a new series, This Life, The Next Generation.
God, I'm depressed. Too much like sherbet. Don't tell me how to live my life. Miles, I'm worried. My play leader says I have to colour this in by the morning. I don't think I can cope. What's wrong with me, Anna? I'm falling apart. Hey, Miles, stop telling lies about me behind my back or there'll be trouble, OK? Don't be pathetic. Really? I was at a party and I had too much squash and I got drunk and I held O'Donnell's hand. I didn't mean it. It meant nothing. How could you? This is the end. But no buts now. Oh, no. Egg has found out the truth. What's going to happen now?
Meanwhile, Saddam Hussein last year brought off the amazingly impossible feat of making being on the brink of all-out global war seem boring and repetitive. He was at it all year, the butchering tyke.
Now, the BBC, they obviously know something that the rest of us don't. Judging by next week's Radio Times, there's the cover. It says, he's back. Saddam Hussein chats to Polly Toynbee about his forthcoming new war, and he promised us some old favourites and some new characters as well.
Especially the BBC are desperate for a war because they've now got a 24-hour news channel to fill up. So, to provoke Saddam further, they've sent the BBC balloon into Iraqi airspace. There it is. There it is. Across the Gulf.
Part of the problem is, of course, that Saddam has accused the head of the UN team of being a spy.
Yeah.
And in a way, you can sort of see his point, given that a spy's job is to go to foreign countries and take pictures of their military installations. They are spies, they're just crap ones. Because they tend to ring up the day before and say, oh, we want to do some espionage, how's tomorrow for you? Have you got a window?
Well, the problem is that they tell Saddam the day, but they don't say what time they're coming. No. So he can't do anything, he just has to stay in all day. And the moment he pops out to do some quick butchering, right, he comes home and he finds this. It's a card from the UN inspector saying, we called to inspect your nuclear biological weapons capability, but unfortunately, you were out. Please let us know when it's convenient to re-enter your country. And then on the back, they've got one of these weapons self-assessment forms. You can see here, Saddam's filled it in. How many chemical weapons do you have? None. Really? Yes.
Now, there has been a lot of tension over the whole issue of the West demanding to see Saddam's weapons. So earlier this year, we decided it might help to calm things down a bit if we sent a bunch of very angry Iraqis to a British Army base to demand tit-for-tat inspections.
Hello, sir. Good morning. We are from Iraq. We are the elite Republican pharmacists. We need to just check your plant, if we may, just to make sure you are not making any more lethal cocktails to inject into your troops.
We don't want you putting any dangerous chemicals into your troops and sending them to our country. It's not very nice. It's very dodgy.
Yeah. But you know, but if you comply with us, it might just
And you allow us to inspect your plant and then everything will be okay.
It might just diffuse the situation in the Gulf. We're not promising anything. You show us yours, we show us ours.
Maybe we will have to impose sanctions.
وكيف عندك؟ وكيف؟
ما في ألميرا. ما في ألميرا. ما في ألميرا.
ما في. شرب البيرة ممنوع.
Now, as for Saddam's weapons, the UN inspectors have made some progress. They've drawn up a list of his chemical stockpiles. I've got it here. It's anthrax, hydrochloric acid, sarin, Agent Orange, additive E3678. It turns out it's the formula for sunny delights.
Right, well, that's all from us. There's just time to reveal at long last the entire purpose of the Millennium Dome. So please, on the night of December the 31st, make your way to the Dome, go inside and get ready for takeoff. Because the whole thing's going to blast off into space and dock behind a comet known as the Mandel Star, where we'll be sexually experimented on by aliens. Good night.
A new series of The Armistice later in the year here on BBC Two.